welcome back to another video. So we're going to do another Japanese video today. I'm going to be teaching you how to make miso soup the authentic way. So we're not using things like veggie stock from a store. We're going to be making the dashi, the stock, ourselves at home. You only need 2 ingredients to do this, and then the rest is pretty easy. So yeah, let's get straight to it.
I go into this in greater detail in my udon recipe video, but basically we're adding 15 grams of dried kombu to 1 liter of water. Make sure you don't wash or clean the kombu, as we want to preserve the white powder that you can see on top. It's actually umami, specifically mannitol, and this is what gives the kombu a lot of flavor. And also make sure you're using kombu and not other types of seaweed like wakame. We're also going to add 10 grams of dried shiitake mushroom and let this all soak overnight. So this is the next day, and as you can see, the kombu has expanded so much and the mushrooms are squishy and plump. Remove the shiitake mushroom, as the scum, known as aku in Japanese, ruins the broth if you boil the mushrooms. By scum I mean the foamy bits that can rise to the surface when you heat the broth up. You can also remove the kombu at the same time and use the stock as is, but I like to heat it up on the stove on low to medium heat, and as it gets warmer you'll notice some of the scum forming at the sides, so go ahead and remove these impurities. Just before the stock starts to boil, turn the heat off and remove the kombu from the dashi. If you boil kombu, it's going to get really slimy, and while the kombu wants to get slimy, we need to prevent this. Then strain it through some kitchen paper if you have any, to remove any impurities that are still left inside the stock, and set this aside, and let's go ahead and prepare the rest of the ingredients. A lot of Japanese like to eat rice with miso, so I'm using Japanese short grain sushi rice, and I'm rinsing it several times until the water is relatively clear. Then if you have time, let the rice soak in water for around 10 minutes till the center of the rice becomes a solid white color. Then I put my rice in the rice cooker, and I started to chop some spring onions, but I chopped them further towards the ends and not too close to the roots, otherwise it'll be too dense. And these add a really nice flavor to the miso, and you can save the roots and dry them and keep them in the fridge to make vegetable stock for other recipes like ramen. This is purely optional, but I'm going to be adding savoury mochi, which is just glutinous rice cake, and it's not sweet at all. It's like tteokbokki in Korean food. Then I'm adding my spring onions, and after a few minutes the mochi is going to be squishy, soft and pillowy. Sometimes I even purposely overcook my mochi for around 10 minutes so that it semi-dissolves into the miso, which I also really like. And finally, turn off the heat and add 1 heaped tablespoon of miso paste. I'm using shiro miso, but you can use red or darker miso paste if you want a more intense flavor. I'm dissolving this in a ladle, but you can smudge it against the sides of the pot if you don't have one of these. Also, it's really important, you need to turn off the heat before you add the miso paste, because if you add miso into like boiling things, it's going to kill the probiotics inside it, which is what makes this fermented paste so good for your gut. If you want to reheat this, make sure you don't boil it. Then add some Japanese tofu. I use soft tofu, but not silken, as I find that it tends to fall apart. You can also add some thinly sliced potato and boil it with the mochi in the dashi, and that tastes really nice as well. This recipe tastes as good as any miso you find at a restaurant, and remember that Japanese cuisine is very simple and refined, and it's more about the subtle flavors. Also, when you add mochi, tofu and potato, it makes this dish so much more filling. thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you like the content, and I'll see you all next time.